I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do at this point. Hey pals, welcome to my vlog of the last couple of weeks. Fuck me up, this has sucked, but now you know why I've been sick. Been feeling too sick to do stuff, so here we go. Hi pals, it is me, Artie. I'm in my mum's room. Why? I don't know. I'm about to have a bath. My room's a bit of a mess. It's a little bit easier just to set it up here with the window and whatever. But my mum and I came back from our little trip away, and now the whole family is COVID positive. We were going to test as soon as we got home anyway, but we did forget, so it ended up being an evening event. But it was triggered because my mum's friend told us that she'd tested and was COVID positive. We'd just been with her for the weekend. So me and my mum then tested. My mum was negative twice on Monday the 6th, but I was positive. I started to have some like cold flu symptoms on the 4th of June, so Saturday. Started with like a cough, really phlegmy, fucked up sinuses. You can probably hear it because I can definitely feel it. Also, like, this video might get quite TMI and gross, but yeah, I have been coughing up like neon orange and yellow phlegm. Not all the time, but quite like enough that there's going to be something wrong. I don't feel like terrible, but I did send round a big group email to all of my medical teams to let them know. I've also had to not go to work this week, so my 2 small shifts as an exam invigilator, unfortunately, this week have been cancelled, so I'm losing out on like 76 quid, which sucks. Hopefully I can make it to next week, but that very heavily dependent on a negative test and how I'm feeling. And then my gran tested on Monday evening as well, and she's positive. My mum's partner also tested on Monday evening after he'd gone to his house, and he's positive as well. I was like trying to keep away from him after I found out I was positive in case he wasn't, but no, he is too. And then today's Tuesday the 7th, my granddad was like just refusing to be tested. My granddad finally gave in to do a test at home, and he's also COVID positive. And my mum's had one maybe, she's had like one inconclusive test today, so I'm telling her that she needs to keep testing to make sure whether it stays negative or it becomes positive or what, because honestly at this point we're not really sure who, where would have picked it up from. There are unfortunately like quite a few circumstances where it could have happened, but yeah, my gran is literally just leaving with my mum now to go to hospital for specialist COVID treatment. She's having an infusion of the biologic, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, there's a biologic that's being used for treatment. Me and her have been organised and provided specialist COVID treatment because we're both very vulnerable and on multiple immunosuppressants, and for me it's the inflammatory bowel disease with Crohn's that gets me qualified for it, and I think for my gran it's rheumatoid arthritis. So she opted for the infusion because it's just a one-off infusion. You can be there for hours. That's my understanding of infusions of biologics based on if I'd gone for that treatment for my Crohn's generally. I was given 3 options. One was the infusion, one was one medication, one pill, one type of pill. Can't remember all the exact details of all of them, but it had known interactions with 3 other drugs I'm taking. So it has known interactions with amitriptyline, my ADHD medication, and fexofenadine, which I don't really take, but you know, I do take the other two pretty much daily. So the pharmacist on the line recommended that I go for this other one if I was between pill medications. Again, can't remember the fucking name of any of them, but I'll let you know either in editing or in a future clip when I'm taking them. But basically it's an antiviral medication, and you take it, it's a lot. You take four pills, morning and evening, so 8 pills a day for 5 days. And apparently they're quite big, which is why my gran didn't go for them and went for the infusion instead. I went for the pills because I don't really like the infusion. I don't really like being stuck with needles, and I can deal with taking more pills, to be honest. And I mean, he did say it was a bit bigger than paracetamol, even though he was telling us it was massive. Paracetamol's not that big, so I take quite big calcium tablets sometimes. Like, it's doable. It's not fun, it's doable. So, you know, I'll be starting that this evening. My mum will be picking it up whilst she's taking my gran to the hospital for her infusion. So I'll have my first dose this evening. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So far, I don't feel like terrible. I feel a little bit breathless, but I think it's just because it's hard to breathe through my nose. And like, it kind of can trigger me wanting to cough and stuff. You know, so far, I'm not sleeping well. I haven't been sleeping well because it makes it difficult to breathe, so I wake up a lot. But I don't feel really bad. I feel okay. The pharmacist on the phone was kind of like, oh well, if it's a mild case you don't have to take these. I'm like, I don't give a shit if it seems like a mild case now. I don't know what might happen in a few more days, and a lot of these medications are supposed to be given to you like ASAP, like within 5 days of symptoms, at least to be started on these medications. So I was like, you know, I would rather be safe than sorry. I'm already sorry because I've fucking got COVID now, but I would rather take a medication even if I might only have a mild form. And even then, mild forms are still debilitating and disabling a lot of people in this pandemic. So, you know, I would rather just take this medication and give myself the best chance I have. We aren't sure if my granddad will qualify for any of these or not. He is 78, so he might qualify based on age and maybe some of his other conditions, but he doesn't really come under the same stuff as me and my gran do, which are immunosuppressive meds and autoimmune disorders. But we'll see, I suppose. He only started really getting symptoms apparently today. My mum's been sick for like well over a week, but she was testing negative, so we're not really, like, she's sick, but she's testing negative, besides the one maybe of this morning, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'll probably test again either later or tomorrow, just to like see, because as well, looking at the differences in between all of our tests as well, both of my grandparents and my mum's partner, their tests were really, really, really dark, like the ink was really dark, which I've read up apparently can be to do with the viral load. So if you have a lot of the virus in your body at the moment, it can show in the test in like how dark and whatever the ink is, the lines come up as, and mine were like, they were definitely there, but they were brighter and more red compared to the other tests that my family members have done so far. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know how taking the pills goes this evening, how I'm getting on with it. Yeah, generally it's just lucky I now don't have anything else to do now that I, you know, contacted the job and won't be in this week. So hopefully I'll feel a lot better by the end of the week. Yeah, I'm gonna go get in a bath because I feel gross and sweaty and disgusting. I just wanna relax for a while. I've also got a cup of hot water and Albus oil to try and help me a little bit with breathing. So I've left that in my room to try and make my room smell a bit nicer after the bath. So yeah, that's where we're at today. That was piss easy. That was piss easy. I've had my first one. I went, oh, that's piss easy. Huge my arse. Huge my arse, Layla. Huge my arse. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm already on a MAB, so I didn't want another one. Yeah, the IBD team told me to lay off of my injection this week, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to ignore you. The IBD nurses. Yeah, they said, oh, maybe don't take it this week. And I'm a bit like, well, why? Considering the MABs, there is a MAB being used as treatment for COVID. Why would I stop this? Why would I stop my injection, which is a biologic, when another biologic is being used as treatment? You are probably dehydrated. You have not been home for me to make sure you are watered. And you didn't want to take tea in case you needed to pee whilst you were in the car.
Well, I did go for a pee while I was there because I worked past the outpatients building.
COVID has messed up my sinuses to the point that it's affects my ears a lot. Like when I change position, I can feel and hear whatever's going on in my sinuses change because sometimes my ears are really blocked. Also last night, as I was falling asleep, I kept waking myself up because I could hear myself snoring really loudly. Like, I know probably everybody snores or like makes noises a little bit, but like I don't tend to make noises like that. But I think it's just because I can't fucking breathe properly through my nose and stuff. So that was my night last night. It is Thursday morning. I've also got like a bit of, you know when you catch the same bit of your mouth over and over again? It's just so sore. My throat's a bit sore this morning too. I think it's just because of the snoring and not being able to like breathe through my nose. I got really tired Wednesday and like nearly fell asleep in the afternoon, which I'm putting down to not having slept very well for a while, so we'll see. My rheumatologist called yesterday too in response to like email that I sent to everybody. Yeah, she basically just said take paracetamol, that'll help. And don't go anywhere until you've had 2 negative COVID tests. And I just clarified because I'm supposed to see her next week in person. I was like, okay, what about, the appointment we have next week? And she was like, oh, well, yes, I have to think about my other patients and my mother as well. So, yeah, I would like you to have 2 negative COVID tests before coming to the appointment. If not, then let us know and we'll just make it a phone call one instead. We're supposed to have a blood test next week too, so we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, I'm also supposed to work on Monday, but again, we will see. My rheumatologist sort of said like 6 or 7 days after symptoms, so like that'll be tomorrow or Saturday to test again. I know, it just seems a bit soon compared to like when you just get ill. I don't know, but that's what I have for you today.
It's hard to count when you stick up your nose.
I think Fiona said that her auntie in hospital.
Hello. Ignore my bed sheets. I'm trying to change them. I've stripped the sheets. That's as far as it's going for the moment. It is Saturday. On Friday, yeah, I did my repeat COVID test. It was a lot slower to show as positive and wasn't as like a dark line as my one on Monday. So I was a week, yesterday, today is like a week since my symptoms started, and I'm still showing positive, or at least I was yesterday. I'm going to test again today and tomorrow on Sunday so I can give those details to work, who I'm supposed to be going in to work for on Monday. I already had 2 shifts that I was booked into cancelled because I have COVID, and then they also had like a last minute 2 more shifts, so the timing of this is not good. That's a lot of money that I could have made and now don't have. Might also then be missing out on the Monday shift, but yeah, generally I think I'm doing okay. I'm definitely sleeping more, or I'm sleeping in later. I think my body's just a bit tired from having had bad sleep when we were away, but also from fighting the virus, obviously. Generally don't feel too bad. I think my cough is getting better now. I can breathe a bit better today. It's very hot. I have been trying to get a little bit of like manual labour gardening stuff done, so I'm very sweaty. Feels quite good to be a bit active. So yeah, I basically just watered all the plants outside, watered the plants inside, moved a few things around, stripped my bed sheets, because we also couldn't have the cleaner this week because we're all of us except my mum are COVID positive. My mum is still negative. She tested yesterday, still negative. And I did a little bit of Googling because I obviously have no idea how viruses and stuff work. But apparently my theory of maybe because my mum's already sick with some other kind of cold, she's not picking up COVID from the rest of us. And it does seem to me that is could be possible. From some of the studies and articles I read, it's like less than 10% of people can pick up more than one like virus. And it does seem to be that when you have one virus, you're less likely to pick up another one. So I think my mum is, I don't know, not able to pick up COVID from the rest of us because she already picked up some other virus, which is very weird, you know. Apparently I think from what I read, it's something to do with it's thought to be that the 2 viruses are fighting each other to access the only sustaining life source available within the body. So whichever one gets there first / has the upper hand, is stronger, already has been developing for a while, is more likely to push out the other one. So I think my mum's other random virus cold possibly has just pushed COVID to one side. Who knows, but I also think generally I went on these other antibiotics at just the right time. Cotrimoxazole. So they have a really weird dose pattern. So I take them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, morning and evening. And I take them because I'm on so many immunosuppressive medications. They're supposed to help prevent a chest infection. So I think that, and being able to get on the oh, are you kidding? Where did they go? Okay, they're all in the drawer. That's good. Yeah, the antivirals molnupiravir. Although I've had a few people say that if your symptoms are mild at the beginning, then they are likely to stay mild, but that doesn't sound accurate to me, because I think most people, you know, thought it was mild and then suddenly got really sick days later. But apparently that's what all of the professionals are saying at the moment, is that if your symptoms started off as like quite mild, then they don't think it will get much worse, especially with the new variant. So I don't know whether that may have been the case for me or not, but yeah, I wanted to be safer than sorry. That's why I went on the antivirals, and why my gran went for the infusion of the biologic as our treatments for COVID. And also, again, glad that I'm on those antibiotics too. Yeah, for the most part, it's just that breathing can be a bit difficult because my nose tends to be quite blocked. But otherwise, again, I'm still kind of feeling about fine. My energy isn't too bad, but I have been trying to just generally rest up as much as possible as well. So, what is it? Tuesday? It's Tuesday. I've had a few tests that kind of come back a bit more on the inconclusive side. So, I don't know whether my negative on Saturday was a false or what. Monday morning I did one and it was like a very faint line. I'm going to do another test later and see what it says. But generally, I know I haven't necessarily gotten any worse. I think I'm just very tired. I need to like lay down and rest and sleep more at the moment, which is not uncommon for when you have a virus. You know, I finished the antivirals on Sunday morning. I'm not really taking anything else for COVID, except for maybe paracetamol some days. I might get back on taking that. My symptoms have started to get a bit better. Yeah, it's just when I need to cough, it's really gross and not fun. And same for when I need to like blow my nose. It's just kind of like the mucus isn't shifting by itself. But I'm not really having problems breathing anymore. And yeah, I'm just kind of more tired. So I'm just trying to take it easy. Yeah, sort of by midday, early afternoon, I'll be tired and need to have like a lay down or almost have a nap and stuff. I fall asleep very quickly at night within like 10 minutes. And I can sleep in longer than usual, so I'll check back in after my test later, because I need to have 2 negatives if I'm to go to my rheumatologist appointment in person. Apparently I still have COVID, so I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do at this point. What day is it? Day 11? Means I can't go for my blood test. Probably can't go to my appointment, so this week just doesn't get any better, so I give up. It's very hot today. It's been hot for a good few days now. Yeah, I finally had my appointment with my rheumatologist, but I had to have it changed to a phone call because my tests were still coming back positive. So there's definitely something going on with the tests that I've been using. One set of tests doesn't really seem to vary how dark the line is based on your viral load. So that type of test just seems to stay the same looking the whole time, as long as it's detectable that you have COVID. And then the other one is the one that does vary, but that's one that gave me a negative and then gave me some positives again. So generally I've tried to stay in, but I have had to go out a few times to help my family with appointments and stuff. I have to go out later, but I'm fully masked up, trying to keep away from other people as much as possible. Obviously hand sanny and all that, but I'm on like, what, day 13 today? It's Friday. Nearly been 2 weeks, yeah, since my symptoms started. I also found out that apparently I can't have my next COVID jab until I'm 28 days since my last positive, or my first positive test or something like that. So that means me, my gran and my granddad can't go and get our jabs until like the first week of July. It's like around the 6th of July we'll be able to get our jabs. So we are looking into how to do that, because unfortunately we won't be able to do it at our GP surgery. They're only doing jabs for the next couple of weeks, so they literally like just miss us. So we're going to try and find a local, I don't know whether it's a walk-in or like pre-book, whatever. But yeah, I think we're a little bit overdue, really. I'd been told that it's like every 3 months, but my friends in Australia have been told every 4 months. So, you know, it obviously depends. But I think we're about the 4-month marks by the time we get the jabs. So hopefully it'll be okay. I had a bath yesterday and I felt so much better, because I think I've been getting into like a lot of a mental rut of like just existing in this world. Not doing it for me. So I neglected my general hygiene. Stayed on top of brushing my teeth and skincare, but not actually bathing. So you know, disability, mental illness, it's just what it is. But after my bath, I felt great. Also, the bath was like not as hot as I usually have it, because it's been so hot just generally, so it was like quite nice and refreshing as well. So it was just really good. I loved that vibe. So I'm feeling a bit better generally in my body as it is because of that. I am still just tired, like more tired than usual, probably because of COVID. Yeah, for the most part I still have the cough, still have the bunged up, fucked up sinuses, but they are slowly getting better. They're just not gone yet. My phone call with the rheumatologist yesterday, I couldn't get a blood test this week because of the COVID positive tests. But she also said that it probably would have been like a bit all over the place anyway, because my body's fighting off COVID. So she said it's fine. My last blood test early June was good, a lot better. So I'm almost sort of back to a good, healthy, non-inflamed baseline again. And we will start tapering the prednisolone again soon. So we're dropping 1 milligram every 2 weeks this time. That's what we're trying. Because usually, like up at this end, it's not too bad. It doesn't take too long to drop 1 milligram. So I think I could probably get down to 10 relatively easily. It's just 10 and under can be trickier, and it gets worse the lower it goes. So hopefully that will be okay. We're now also switching to monthly blood tests. Yes, thank God. I've been getting them every 2 weeks recently, and sometimes even like every week. And it's been bad. I hate it. So that's good. I'm glad. My blood tests from early June as well did show some signs to do with like the liver, so it's just something I have to keep an eye on. Some signs to do with the red blood cells have enlarged, which she has said that that's common with mercaptopurine, so she thinks that that is a sign that the mercaptopurine is now like kind of starting to do something in the system. So she's not worried about it, but it can be linked with B12, folate, iron deficiency type of things. So generally, yeah, I have to keep an eye on those as well. But yeah, for the moment it seems relatively okay. I'm still trying to rest a lot, but I am also trying to get in some physical activity where I can. It's kind of like the mental stuff I'm struggling with at the moment, even when I'm on my ADHD medication. So but for the moment, yeah, my voice keeps doing this as well. I do get a bit of a hoarse voice anyway, but yeah, it's been a lot more regular. And also because it's been very hot and dry, my snot is bloody because it's just so dry in the air at the moment. And also I have started snoring. I don't know if I recorded this anecdote at any other point, but like, because my sinuses are all fucked up from COVID and the amount of gross mucus I have going on, I'm snoring. I'm waking myself up by snoring. It's a funny anecdote, but it also is awful. Luckily I've not had too many problems in the last couple of days, but I would notice it because I wake up at really weird times in the morning, like more than once, but I'll go back to sleep usually. So a lot of the times I'll wake up at like 6 or 7, go take my pills and roll over and go back to sleep. But a few of those mornings I kept being woken up by myself, because every time I was like starting to drift off and go to sleep, my body would just start to snore and it would wake me up. So yeah, you know, just chilling, about to drop off to sleep, and then and like that would just happen until I gave up, basically. So it's been weird that my sleep hasn't always been great because of COVID as well. But you know, my breathing's okay for the most part. I don't really feel like that heaviness on the chest anymore, or ever. I didn't really feel it at all. And sometimes breathing as well through my mouth can lead me to choking and coughing because of like the mucus. I have so much mucus. That's like the main thing. I have so much mucus. It's very gross, it's very annoying, and it's very uncomfortable. I've always had sinus problems, so you know, I know how to kind of deal with it, but it's not been this bad for quite a while. So yeah, vibes. Well, that's it for now, I guess. So to round off this video, on Sunday, which was technically 15 days after I started showing symptoms, I finally tested negative, like properly. When I had that one-off negative test a week prior, I think that was down to possibly the specialised COVID medication I've been given. As you know, I was put on antivirals for 5 days. So when I had that negative test, it was like very near the end of that course of treatment. I think I had maybe 1 or 2 doses left. So I think being on that medication actually gave me a false negative that week, which then made everything else very confusing and strange. My gran went for the IV, is still testing positive. But as well, a lot of things that we've read about people with long-term health conditions and immunosuppressive medications and stuff, a lot of people in our position have been testing positive for a lot longer than average. Like I'm a little bit surprised that I was testing positive for pretty much a solid 2 weeks. I still have symptoms, but they are slowly getting better. Mainly the cough is better. Sometimes the sinuses problems are better, sometimes not. I'm still very snotty, and like not in a hay fever way, because hay fever to me is usually just like either very dry, can't breathe through my nose, or runny nose. Not quite this, but I have now got sort of the hearing back that was totally fucked up by sinus problems, but it is definitely very much more this side of my sinuses that is worse still, and I am just still kind of a bit more tired and fatigued than usual. I do definitely feel like I am on the mend, so that's where we're at. I just really wanted to include that bit about the antivirals, because it's a little bit difficult to get information at the moment about what to expect for COVID treatment, COVID, and you know, all those sorts of things. Everything has been very muddied. There's not a lot of information about what to expect or look for to start you know, testing, or how long you should test for, which kind of test you should be using. So I realised I didn't actually say this in my video at any point, but when it came to the COVID medication, I was first called by a pharmacist who worked out what medication I should be taking, and then I was called by, I guess, the people actually in the pharmacy itself at the hospital you designate, because basically all of our hospital options were hospitals far away. They couldn't, for some reason, send it to one of our closer hospitals because we aren't in that county. Like, we're in Sussex, but we're on like the border, so even though technically we're one side, the other side are the closer hospitals normally. But yeah, the first pharmacist made it seem like you have to go and collect it, whereas then the person I spoke to later on the phone said that there is actually a delivery system. So definitely something worth double checking with whoever you're on the phone to, because like, if it wasn't for my gran going to that hospital for her IV infusion, I don't know what I would have chosen or how, because all of the hospitals are 45 minutes to an hour's drive away. And the fact that this guy didn't clarify that actually you can get the meds delivered was pretty shitty, actually, especially like seeing as my entire family except my mum were positive with COVID. So it was a bit like, what would you do if everybody had COVID? Because you're not supposed to go anywhere, my dude. So I just wanted to add that in there as well. And be wary and careful with what you're doing. My mum continued to be negative. I don't think her partner or my granddad have retested again recently, but that's kind of how it has been the last couple of weeks. So at least now I am allowed to go outside again and not feel like I'm putting people in danger. My rheumatologist did say that if you still have symptoms then you could still be contagious, but I don't know how accurate that is if you are still if you've tested negative. So I don't know, but you know me, I'm going back to being very sensible when I do leave the house. It's weird when you are a multiply disabled person and your own disability access needs conflict each other, but you know, as an ADHD autistic, which are like basically opposites in a lot of ways, it's something that I am continuing to learn and get used to, but we'll see how we go. But I have also just been trying to enjoy some of the hot weather we had whilst I've not been allowed to leave, doing a bit of gardening stuff, watering plants. We've got strawberries popping up, amazing, love it. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, I just wanted to give myself a break last week, and I just had some old footage that I hadn't actually posted anywhere. That's what we got. Leave a like on the video, comment down below if you're also a chronically ill person who has had COVID. That was kind of the main way that I was wary or aware of what it might be like for me, was following like other chronically ill people and friends, keeping updated with what COVID was like for them. To be honest, we've all been very different. I feel like that's just how it is with COVID. Everybody's going to have a really different experience, but you know, it's always good to try and stay informed and aware, because it's not over, guys. It's not over. But yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of me generally talking about stuff, and I will see you all in my video next week. Bye.